Alola DapperDraBy here, and today we're actually going to do our first ever deck tech. And we're going to do a deck tech of that Jolteon deck that I used the other day in a legendary battle. This deck is very much a lot of fun. I'm also going to end up doing a deck tech of that Zygarde deck that I used in the same day. And I might even do some deck techs for, if people like this, then go ahead and leave a like, a comment, and I'll try to do more deck techs of my legendary battle decks, whether or not they are going to be like the original ones, which was the theme decks, or if it's going to be stuff I build myself. Like these two I built myself, so. And I mean, I think they could be somewhat viable. This one is based off of a World Championship deck from last year. Let me see if I can get the information for that really fast here. This deck is loosely based off of, is that booklet down here? Booklet is not down here. I know I have it somewhere though. But it's based off of the deck that I believe got 3rd place in Worlds last year. It was up there on what it got for placement wise, but I'm not sure if I have the booklet nearby here. Let me check my cupboards of my desk real fast here. I do not see it up here. That sucks. Sorry I cannot give credit where credit is due, but I basically based it off of, if you guys ended up getting a World Champion deck, look up Ka-Chow Ninja Boy. That is the deck I based it off of. Oh, here it is right here. So, I looked in this, flipping through it, I was like, what's a good Jolteon deck? And I thought of... wrong way. I thought of, not the first, not the 2nd place deck, but Ka-Chow Ninja Boy. The 3rd place deck by Samuel Howe. I think that's how you say his name. And I was like, hey, that's a good idea. Vileplume, Forest, has 2 Glaceons, 2 Jolteons in it. It's a bit of a lock deck. And I was like, that could work for this with Ninja Boy. I'm like, and I have a lot of these cards, so let me try that. But I took a different approach to it. I wanted to update it. I didn't want it just to be that same deck. I wanted to update it. So we'll go over now what I updated it with and why I think that could be useful. So, because I wanted to feature Jolteon, I did do a smaller count of Glaceon. So I do have 3 Jolteons in this deck, and I think you can see that, but it is a little dark there in the corner. Maybe if I brighten it up like that. So, there's a full art Jolteon that we got into the Mega Collections box, and then 2 Jolteons from Generations there. Now, you could take out 1 Jolteon and put a Glaceon in if you want to lock. And also... yes, that people were saying like Jolteon, Glaceon, they're kind of irrelevant. They can't do enough damage. But I was hoping with this deck that I can bump up the damage there. What I ended up doing was I put 4 Kukuis in this deck, and I put 4 Choice Bands, so that Flash Ray, if it's hitting an EX or a GX Pokemon, it's going to hit for 100 damage. If I add Kukui as well to it, it's another 20 damage. So I'm trying to hit 120 every turn and lock the opponent. And that's the basic idea of this deck, is you want to hit 120 and lock the opponent for whoever they have in front of you, whether it's an evolution Pokemon or a basic Pokemon. We also have 1 Drampa-GX for Big Wheel and Berserk. We use a lot of Rainbow energy in this deck, so I thought, what better than Rainbow? What better to use in a Rainbow energy deck than a Drampa? Berserk, if your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on it, this attack does 70 more damage. And I was like, that sounds perfect. So, it's in here for Berserk. It's also a good, like, Ninja Boy target. You can just Ninja Boy right into your Drampa and hit for 150 if you're feeling like your numbers are low, or if you just need to go for that big knockout. But this is mainly like a 2-shot deck. We have Salamence, because we still have a lot of EXs roaming around. This attack does 50 more damage for each Pokemon EX. Each of your opponent's Pokemon EX. So Beastly Fang is the main attack in this. Is you can Ninja Boy into them if they have a lot of EXs and just start swinging with Beastly Fang. If it's like a Volcanion deck and has 4 Volcanion-EXs on the other side, that's 200 damage. And so you're trying to face that and knock those out. So we also have one Glaceon. Like I said, a more competitive version of this might be to take out one Jolteon and put another Glaceon in, since there are more evolutions now, decks, than they were in the past when Glaceon first came out. And how that matches up with Samuel Ho's deck is, like I said, he had 2 Jolteon, 2 Glaceon, and I believe 2 Aegislash in there. So we're doing like slightly different. 2 Glaceon, 2 Jolteon, and 2 Aegislash was the main part of their his deck there. And he also had 3 Shaymins, but we're doing another option for Shaymin. Since Shaymins are expensive, we're doing it more budget friendly. But for the replacement of Vileplume, I chose Trevenant from Guardians Rising. And so I have 3 grass Phantumps, because they're grass. So we're thinking 3 grass Phantumps can evolve into either 2 grass Trevenants or the Psychic Trevenant that is in Standard. I mean, you could take this into Expanded and do the other Trevenant that does the item lock. That's an option as well, because then you can item lock them and lock them based on what kind of... well, you can item lock them when you're in the active, or you can lock them based on what kind of Pokemon they have in front of you. But Poltergeist is kind of a good early game attack. It's a 1 energy attacker with, you can just slap down a double colorless on Trevenant and Poltergeist, which does this, your opponent reveals their hand, and the attack does 30 damage for each trainer you find there. So as long as they have a decent size hand, Poltergeist should do some good damage. And I put 1 Nervous Seed Trevenant in here. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, the attacks of your opponent's basic Pokemon cost 1 more. So the reason why I thought this could be useful is, like, I knew when I was building this that I was facing Zygarde, and I was like, oh, the thing with Zygarde is he can attack for 1 energy, 2 energy, or 3 energy. So I thought, you know, Trevenant could be a good thing to put in there, because it has resistance, but then it also causes that 1 energy to have to be 2 energy. Zygarde has to have 2 energy on him to attack then, which could be a good thing. So that's why I have 1 of these. It also works with other basics right now. You could use it with against Lapras. Collected would not be a 1 energy, it would have to be 2. And I believe it would also work against Alolan Vulpix, which is pretty big right now, because Beacon would no longer be a free attack. They would at least have to have an energy on them, which is a good thing for you, I guess. Okay, let's go to the next one. I have 1 Magearna on here for the Mystic Heart ability and Soul Blaster. Prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any metal energy. This is mainly in here for, you know, anything weak to metal right now, which could be like most fairies, so a Sylveon, Xerneas. That's what Magearna is in here for. Soul Blaster also does an even 120 damage initially. It says during your next turn, this Pokemon Soul Blaster base damage is 60. So, you know, you can Ninja Boy it out and do 120 for 1 big damage. Knock out those Garbodors and stuff like that. So we'll put Magearna over here. And we have 1 Mew, which is one of my favorite cards in this deck, because versatile ability. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's. You still need the necessary energy to use each attack. So he is great when he's in the active, because if you have a Jolteon, a Glaceon, or anything else, anything in this deck is on the bench, you can use that attack. So you can use Poltergeist, you can use Crystal Ray, you can use Flash Ray, you can use Big Wheel GX, or you can use your opponent's GX attack. It's a very versatile card with that. Yes, it has 120 HP, which makes it sometimes easy to knock out, but if you get a big knockout with it, it's worth the 2 prizes. And considering most of these are basics, you could probably even substitute this promo Versatile Mew with the smaller Mew that has that can copy the attacks of basic Pokemon, which that one only has 50 HP. But, like, again, if you get a big knockout with it, it's worth it. The other one has free retreat, though, so it might be a little more useful than this one. But I put this one in here because I did want to be able to use Poltergeist as well, in case I do not have 2 energies attached to Mew. Now, for the replacement of Shaymin, I replaced Shaman with 3 Oranguros, and the reason why I chose 3 Oranguros is because I wanted to be able to have at least 2 or 3 of them on the bench, and if I'm low on cards, just be able to go through my deck with Instruct. So that's why I have 3 Oranguros in this deck to replace Shaman. It's plus Psychic is a pretty good attack. It does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's basically the same as Espeon's big attack. So I thought Oranguru is a great one to just toss in here, and Instruct can always help. And then we have 1 Tapu Lele, both for the ability of Wonder Tag. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and then put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck afterwards. And then Energy Drive is a very nice attack. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon, but it isn't affected by weakness and resistance. So, with that, you know, things that are weak to Psychic does not get affected by it, but that's fine. And it's another option for a GX attack. So we have Tapu Kira, our Big Wheel GX, to be able to use in this deck for GX cards, for GX attacks. And that's pretty much what you want to use. You want to use one of those two. So now let's go into supporters. I put 2 Sycamores in here. Yes, I would want more, but 2 Sycamores is really all I could fit in here. I'm trying to get rid of the glare. It's not working. Which we all know what Sycamore does. You know, you discard your hand, you draw 7 cards back. So, 2 Sycamores for that. For damage boosting, I put 4. Yes, 4 Professor Kukuis. You won't see that in any other deck. So he is the main draw support in this deck, is Professor Kukui. You draw 2 cards and your Pokemon do 20 more damage. So that is the point of Professor Kukui in this deck here. 4 Professor Kukuis. He's all over the place. Put those there. We got 2 Ninja Boys. You know, 1 shiny one, one non-shiny one. And this is the what you're going to use in this deck a lot. You want to be able to Ninja Boy into what you need at the time. So you want to be able to Ninja Boy from a Jolteon into a Mew. Or you want to Ninja Boy from a Drampa into a Magearna. You want to be able to do that Ninja Boy play, so that's why you have the Rainbow Energy double colorless. You can Ninja Boy into whatever you need in the moment. If you're facing a lot of basics, you put Jolteon out. If you're facing a lot of evolutions, you put Glaceon out. If you just need that big one-hit KO, you put Berserk out if you have damage on your bench. Or you Beastly Fang if they have a lot of EXs and you just want to knock them out. And then Mew, like I said, he's perfect in the active because he can use everybody else's attacks. So that is the point of Ninja Boy. Ninja Boy letting you choose what you want to put in. We have 4 ends in this deck, so that you can just cycle through your cards, make sure you have the ones you need at the right time. We got 2 Lysandres, so you can bring out something like, you know, if your opponent has a bench Hoopa and a few other EXs, and you have Salamence in the active, you want to knock out that Hoopa. You know, as long as they have 4 EXs, you can knock out that Hoopa easy enough. Or you can trap that Hoopa in the active and either use your Big Wheel or something. Lysandre's in here to either trap somebody in the active, or if they have something with a lot of energy on it but haven't attacked with it and you want to take advantage of it, use your Lysandre. Take out that Pokemon before it can hurt you. And then I put 1 Hala in here because there's two GXs I'm planning on using. I most likely plan on using Big Wheel GX, so I can get 10 cards in my hand and get set up quickly. So I put Hala in here. I really like Hala as a new supporter from the Guardians Rising set. Shuffle your hand into your deck. If you've used your GX attack, draw 7 cards. If not, you draw 4. So it sucks when you get Hala right away in the beginning, which is why we have a higher count of N. But it's great late game when you've already used your GX attack. Hala is great because you can get 7 cards, which really helps you just put the nail in the coffin, you know. We have 3 VS Seeker. I was debating on putting in a 4th one, but 3 seem to be enough. You can use any of your supporters. You can reuse your Kukui. You can reuse your Lysandre. Reuse your N, so you don't have to use your Hala. Stuff like that. Pretty basic VS Seeker. 4 Ultra Ball to search out anything. It's very good in the opening turns to get out your Lele, to find whatever supporter you need. Making sure you get the Pokemon you need out. Ultra Ball is pretty standard in most decks. You got one Special Charge because this deck runs solely on Special Energy. The second one could be nice, but it's not necessary. We got 2 Nest Balls. Because I wanted 6 balls in this deck, and since most of the Pokemon in this deck are basic, Nest Balls seem to be the right choice, in my opinion. Considering you can get out whatever you need, except for Trevenants. So everything but Trevenants can be gotten out with that Nest Ball. Sorry for the glare. We got 4 Choice Bands for boosting damage, solely to boost the damage. You want to have a Choice Band on whatever you're attacking with so that it can hit those big numbers, or at least hit enough to be able to 2-shot. Then we have 4 Forest of Giant Plants. That's to evolve that Phantump right away. Like I said, that is your initial attacker, is Trevenant. So you have 4 Forest of Giant Plants, so you can get it out as soon as possible. Alright, and then all we have left is energies. We have 1 Lightning Energy because Jolteon is the star of this deck. We have 4 Rainbow Energies because you're going to Ninja Boy into whatever you need at whatever time. And we have 4 Double Colorless because Double Colorless is the main energy for this deck. So, like I said, leave a comment, a like if you guys liked this explanation. And go ahead and go check out that versus the Jolteon-EX deck versus the Legendary Battles, Jolteon versus Zygarde. If you guys want to see how those 2 decks competed against each other. But for the meantime, this has been DapperDraBy, and I will see you guys on the next video. Alola! Girl.